So recently I've been seeing a lot of talk about the TechDisc, and I actually reached out to them to see if they were interested in sending me one or whatever. So full disclosure on that. They weren't interested in sending one for free because they weren't interested in a ton of marketing. And so this is a completely unsponsored review because I paid the $300 for the TechDisc. I actually got it like a month and a half ago and I still haven't even opened it up yet. But today I want to review it. I want to see if it'd be worth it for you. I do have an affiliate link, so full disclosure there. I think I make like $18 per TechDisc bought through that link. So if you want to support me, you can do that. Absolutely no obligation to do so. And I don't have to say anything at all about this, but we're gonna open it up, unbox it, connect it to probably my iPad, and then go and do a little network session to see kind of what my baseline numbers are, as well as if this is something that would be useful for you. Because I do think that there are very specific use cases for most people, and not everybody needs a TechDisc, for sure. But let's open it up real fast. This is how professional we are over here. You can see both the cameras in the overhead shot. All right, TechDisc. On the back of the box real fast, you got the understand your throw like never before. It measures 6 different metrics, which we will talk about. And we're also gonna talk about whether I think it's accurate or not, and if that even matters necessarily. I did order a fairway driver, and I just realized that you might have been able to see the address. So I'm gonna make sure I have to redact all of that from the earlier stuff. Shout out to Michael, who's the owner of TechDisc. We have a good conversation, and maybe in the future we'll do something together, but this is completely unsponsored. I got the fairway driver model, which I'm very much hoping is an Undertaker, even though the Undertaker isn't necessarily my favorite fairway driver. The other one I know is like a Sapphire or something, which is a super flippy 10-speed, and I'd rather have a disc personally that I'm very comfortable like thinking I would actually be throwing in a tournament in my bag setting, where the Sapphire really isn't one. I know that they have drivers, fairways, mid-ranges, and putters. The reason I got the fairway driver, which we'll open up real fast, got some, wow, this is a lot. Oh my gosh. How many freaking stickers are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Companies always send stickers and stuff. I don't know if they maybe think I'm like gonna put them somewhere, but I think I put maybe like 2% of the stickers that I ever get somewhere. Thanks for the stickers though, I guess. But the reason that I got the fairway driver, I'm thinking this is the Sapphire, which, I mean, it'll be fine, it'll still work. We're gonna open and look at the quick start guide. No, it looks like ESP. Is it? What is this? Please, please, please. Yes, dude, Undertaker, thank goodness. But when you open up, you got TechDisc on the bottom there, a charging port, which I really hope that we don't need to use right now to charge it. And then the disc, you can see, is affixed to the bottom. You can see it's kind of like glued in there. And from what I understand from talking to Michael over at TechDisc, the reason that they don't just have like a puck that you can put on whatever disc, I think Discmania might be coming out with something like that. I'm not 100% sure, but I've heard some rumors. But the reason that they put it on themselves and then ship the disc out instead of just giving you like this little puck is because of calibration. They want to make sure that they can calibrate it and test it. At least that's my understanding. And that's the reason why I don't think it's ultimately that important whether or not these specific numbers are exactly accurate. If I throw a disc and it says 62 miles an hour, but I really threw it 61 and a half, I don't really care too much because the throw that I throw 62 and then the next time I throw 60, it's going to be calibrated to itself. So you're going to be able to judge the delta in the metrics, like what the changes are, and that's ultimately what's important with something like this. This isn't like a vanity tool. Maybe a little bit. Like if I can throw something really fast, I'm probably gonna post on it. If I throw something 70 miles an hour, it's gonna go on Instagram. A little bit of a vanity tool, but for the most part, a training tool. It's kind of a flat Undertaker, but feels decent in the hand. For me, the Undertaker, the one reason I don't like it is the rim is kind of like a plus rim, so it kind of comes in at an angle. And so like this disc, the one that I throw in my bag, is the CD1, which doesn't have that, so it feels a little bit like, it's a little bit easier for me to grip the CD1, but the Undertaker, not super uncomfortable, so I'm really stoked that I got this instead of a Sapphire. I honestly don't quite know what the mid-range and putters are. I'm guessing most of it is Discraft. It seems like that's who they have a partnership with. They did have the Sapphires. Those were the initial first ones that I did throw, were those Latitude ones, which maybe they had that initial partnership and it's changed. But I think the first time I ever threw a TechDisc was in Kansas City at the Seeker Lounge, shout out Seeker. And I was able to throw, I think I was like averaging like 58 miles an hour or something. And this was about a month or two before I played the Kansas City Wide Open, the silver event that was over there. I've since thrown them a couple more times back at the Seeker Lounge, at Overthrow Disc Golf in Lynchburg. They also have them at my local shops here in Denver, which I did go into Fly Green and like play around with it for a few hours. And I think that for most people, that's probably going to be where they get this, because unless you're like super serious about training, investing $300 in a training tool, I mean, unless you're just flush with cash, which get it for fun, I mean, for sure. But for most people, this is gonna be a really big expense. And it was, I mean, $300 is not like something that I sniff my nose at, but I felt like it'll probably be helpful for me to just have usable metrics because it's going to allow for another data point that I can track. And even though I'm going to be doing network, which means that I can throw a lot in a row, it's kind of nice because there's like a 10 or 15 second like latency from when you throw it, maybe probably a lot shorter than that, to when you can see the numbers, then you look through the numbers. So you throw, you have a little rest instead of rip, 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 which is something that I'm very prone to do. So real quick, we'll take a look at the quick start guide and set it up on my iPad. TechDisc Pro Trainer says to pair device, visit techdisc.com or download the iOS app. So we'll just do that real fast. I'll open this up. Oh, it's there. Sweet. 5 stars, 5 reviews. Clutch. With the TechDisc, I want to be able to watch my throw, and so I'm going to be filming the video, and then I'm going to be putting my phone into this tripod. I also have this tripod, as well as the net link down in the description. If you want to pick any of these up with affiliate links, they'll all support me. Happy holidays. Classic iPhone app on the iPad, so we'll blow it up. It'll still be easy to see. Luckily, it's a pretty simple app. Obviously, there's nothing in there right now. Wait, it's screen recording. What am I doing? So you can see the latest throw. You can see the speed, spin, wobble, which I don't know if it's an important metric or not, but hyzer, nose angle, and launch angle. And then there's some tags, and then you can like group those together, I believe. So I'll quickly turn this on. I think most of this is honestly going to be pretty self-explanatory. This seems like a good little pamphlet. Until the green LED turns on. If the LED is red or does not come on, charge it. So I'm glad it's green. Shout out TechDisc. And then connect it from list of devices. So click connect. We'd like to use Bluetooth. Searching and connecting. Perfect, and it's 88% charged. That's clutch. Let's see if we can register my first throw with my own TechDisc. From what I understand, you have to spin it. You have to get a certain spin. Oh, I threw a thumber, I guess. That's a putt is a thumber. 6.7 miles an hour, 333 RPMs, clutch. 6.3 wobble, bad. Analyzers, negative 6.3, and super nose down, negative 51 degrees with a 76-degree launch angle. How far does it say it through? View more on techdisc.com. Okay, I'm guessing TechDisc, going to the actual website, is going to be significantly better. This is the UI that you're used to seeing is on TechDisc itself. So this is probably what I'm actually going to end up doing, but it's nice that I can just open up the app instead of having to type in the website and then click go to the website. Not so nice because I have to connect it. Dang it. All right, you got to log in and connect again. Well, we've learned a couple things. If you connect it to the app and then you go online, you're going to have to connect it again, your account. But luckily your throws do upload when I connect my account, and then you have to be on like Google Chrome, Edge, or other Chromium. I don't even know what that means, browsers. So I'm gonna have to download Google Chrome, which is good to know. But real quick, just looking at this first throw, it says it went 1.99 feet, baby. We're freaking killing it. So honestly, pretty simple. I'm gonna download Google Chrome. I'm gonna connect to the TechDisc on my iPad, and we're gonna head over to my apartment gym's upstairs section. Hopefully no one is in it. Otherwise, we're gonna have to wait to shoot this video a bit or go out into a field. And we'll actually do a little bit of a session real fast. We'll kind of see what our numbers look like now and what that baseline can improve to, as well as taking a look at everything form-wise that we talked about even in yesterday's video. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel and be awesome. If you want to pick one of these up, please do. Feel no obligation though. And as we throw, there's a lot in this page that we'll be able to look at, but the numbers that I'm going to be really looking to increase are obviously going to be speed, because your nose angle can be crap if your speed is 75 miles an hour, but then nose angle, because if you throw slower speed with better nose angle and spin, you can still get a disc to shape very far. And then spin rate for me has always been pretty decent, but I want to change something up in how I snap the disc out of my hand that might decrease the spin rate. I'm interested to see though. But yeah, let's get out. Really excited. Shout out TechDisc. Well, I guess not shout out, I paid for it, baby. Still shout out though, you know what I mean? So these past few weeks I've not been recovering very well. And especially when that happens, I start to feel a little like tightness before I go to throw. I'm kind of really grateful that I'm not doing field work today. Instead, I'm doing this, because coming into the gym means all the equipment excuses kind of go out the window when I can come in here. And the reason I'm walking backwards on a little bit of an incline is because it's very helpful for getting blood flow to the knees, because you're getting that toe down first, knees kind of pumping through, blood's kind of starting to pump through those knees. And that way, being able to move the knees, feel fluid, be like bouncy on my feet, will be much easier. I'm also feeling a lot in my glute medius, so we'll warm that up, set up the net, get to do a little bit of throwing. I'm grateful that not a lot of people use this space all the time, because it should be a pretty good opportunity for me to come most days to actually be able to throw. I'm gonna do this for 5-10 minutes, and we'll get everything going. I have to clean up all this from using this net outside so much. Oh yeah, this is gonna be a nice space to use a lot. Get some warm-ups real fast. I did bring a putter, mid, and driver, just so I can get different feels, because they do feel slightly different. Gotta make sure I don't throw I put it together wrong. Well, I put it together exactly wrong. How will it? Boop. Super interested to see the TechDisc in the net, and like have one. Throw some more warm-ups with the TechDisc. This is such a nice space up here. I should have used this before, but it's always awkward. Like, disc golf is so niche. Being a YouTuber is kind of cringe. Being a disc golfer is kind of cringe, like very minimally, but like a little. So you can pound both of those, and people are like, "Oh, what are you doing with the camera and the net?" It's like, "Well, I'm a disc golf YouTuber," and they're like, rightly so, I think. Take it out of its cage. You know, I think I'm actually gonna use the app for now. One, because I forgot to download Google Chrome. And two, because I like that it doesn't show how far it thinks it went, and so I don't have that metric to like worry about. And that way we can look at form, take a look at it real fast, and see if changes that we're making are affecting how we're actually throwing. But first, before I actually like start any of that, we're definitely gonna continue warming up a bit, and just kind of see what warm-up throws look like. Alrighty, TechDisc, first throw with ya. 57, 1236. Pretty solid. 60.2, 1300. See, that's more typical nose angle and a little more hyzer. So I think nose is gonna be something really helpful for me. I think having about 0 to like -2 to maybe -3 or 4 is pretty good. One of the things that's nice about the TechDisc, which I'm gonna overlay a little screen recording of, is it actually has a function online where you can look at a simulator. What you can do here is go up to these like 3 dots, and you can go to a simulator and like simulate a throw. So if we go to that 66 mile an hour throw, 66, and we're still throwing that same 9.5 -1, and then kind of all of these, if we just throw it flat, you can like see how much it would be thrown flat, thrown anhyzer. And this is where I think the big thing is, like my nose angle right now is probably averaging about 5. And so my spin rate is around 1300, and then flight numbers 9.5 -1, 2, and that distance is 375 feet, as you can see over here. And like you can play around with this, and it's kind of fun. And you can do this even without a TechDisc or a subscription. I did it before, where you can like look at, okay, what's the launch angle and the hyzer angle and the nose angle and everything to like make your disc actually fly far. And I think since it knows that this is an Undertaker, it's just assuming that it's a 9.5 -1, 2 disc. So like if I throw all these numbers and then just change the nose angle, this is how it looks. If I throw all these and just change the speed, this is how it looks. So I'm gonna focus on getting the nose down, just think about that, and then we'll start to kind of rip some good ones. My arm is feeling pretty poorly internally rotated, so we're actually gonna do an exercise to warm that up, but just try to work a little on nose angle. Think about grip a little bit more. If that's still 5, I'm gonna hurt somebody. Okay, 61, better spin. High nose angle, which I think is gonna be a pull-through problem. Let's warm up my shoulder a bit, and then get to some actual big rips. One lift that I find very helpful with not only strengthening and like warming up, but also increasing range of motion is, I'm just gonna take a, she's an 8, do I have like 6 or 7? I'll take a 7 real fast. Take a dumbbell. I'm not a athletic trainer or anything, but do an external rotation movement where doing my best to not move my elbow, let it get into a deeper range of motion, which right now feels slightly impinged. It's gonna warm up over the 15 reps that we do. Try to do high reps because it's gonna help your tendons if you do higher reps instead of going for strength, and get more blood flow there, which is what's helping your tendons because they grow slower. And then externally rotate up without really moving your elbow much. And you're gonna feel this in the back of your shoulder. So increasing the range of internal rotation on the way down, strengthening the brakes of the throw, which is really what this is. And then also really good warm-up movement. You can do this with bands. Being in here, it's really nice to like, hey, this is what feels a little bit painful. So as I do more of these sessions up here, it'll be really helpful just to have this. I'm not like crazy strict with the form. It's easier if you open up your chest a little bit more this way. It's a little bit harder if you're in a more typical like power pocket position. And I've also heard that it can be dangerous. So I've been like doing it and it's feeling fine, but it's definitely best to face my chest towards the camera and the 90-degree here. It's gonna be a little bit easier. It's gonna be slightly different range. And it's also going to be significantly safer, I've heard. So consult with people who know stuff. Let's like try to rip a couple. I think the fastest I've ever recorded is like 65.5 or something like that. But that was right after the form change it through and things feel a little bit better. My body is not feeling the best today, but it feels warm enough to like throw safely, obviously take care with that. And the main thoughts right now for me, if you guys watched yesterday's video, are about allowing myself to turn back around. Honestly, a lot of it is just has to do with how you coil into the back hip and getting the disc to stay on Anheuser. Gannon says that you can't have pro form unless that is the case. He was texting me about it last night. Kind of being a little bit of a meanie. But get that back into this position, off arm, down, everything comes through, and you throw out. Really, it's just about keeping the disc on Anheuser and having a level pull through. See how much this putt is worth? Just making sure it's still on. Okay, 8.2 miles an hour, classic. Nose angle is important, but not the most important thing right now. I think the pull through flat will help with that. That felt good, but I actually hit my chest on the way through, so I'm probably over-rotating slightly. Not bad, 65.7. Okay, turning around really helps. Nose, very up. Not too worried about it. Try to make sure I don't hit myself so I can throw a little faster. We're definitely throwing on Heiser, feeling it. 65.3, consistent, 1400 RPM, high nose angle. Not terrible. I'm gonna try to put a little more into it, but when I do that, making sure that I'm not just going faster, blah, 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 but instead I'm really sinking into the positions and having a good weight transfer. I'm happy that we're consistent at the 65 for those first two. A little slower, 64.7, really good spin. I think that spin, I talked about it a little bit in my office, has to do with at the end of the throw, you can watch, I kind of pop my wrist, but I think that's also a problem because I pop my wrist like this, which pops the nose up slightly. You can watch it. Instead of popping the wrist flat and out, you don't have as much range of motion that way, so maybe you get a little less spin, but I think decreasing your nose angle by like 3 to 5 degrees is going to be significantly better than losing the 1 to 200 RPMs. So I'm gonna think about that slightly this time, just coming through and hitting it. Very happy with these numbers being consistently at the 65 miles an hour for my first throws of the day. This thing is so fun. I thought about keeping the snap a little bit better. Dang, 66.5 and a better nose angle. In 1400, okay. I mean, we're getting somewhere with this form stuff. I mean, throwing 66, okay. Ultimately, form is about consistency, consistently working on it. You're not gonna get better in one session. Let's take a quick look at how these are. I mean, I definitely assumed that I was throwing faster, but I was also very worried that it's like, oh, I'm feeling like I'm throwing faster, but nothing's actually throwing significantly faster. And we'll take a quick look at how these throws are looking. Man, that's good. I think you need about 69 miles an hour minimum to be throwing 500 feet. And I think I might have a few more in the tank. I'm still trying to be a little smoothie with it instead of, got a little two-step run up. But man, is that good. Okay, really just looking at Anheuser and pull through. If the pull through is flat, it's good. So I'm still, you can see I'm like a little bit way overturned into my X step, which means that I get to these positions a little early. It's still pretty close. Like I'm pretty much, my toe hit the ground here and I'm just past where I need to be. But you can see kind of your shoulder there when it gets to here. I've been thinking a lot about how this is really your arm, the elbow to your wrist. And then this is just a connection of your torso, I would think. And like the tip of the hip is the tip of the hand is the whip or whatever. So part of me is feeling like I really need to just keep the shoulder locked because my shoulder stays locked and then I feel like I need to keep pushing the disc out, and so it stays locked, and then I push it out, and that just adds one more variable of movement. Maybe it's helpful, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm gonna think about maybe just keeping rotation and rotating more into my core and then my shoulders. But these positions, like especially just being into a net, like that is a pretty good looking weight transfer. You can't see the top of the disc, unfortunately, but my off arm is out of the way, and I wasn't even thinking about that. My brace looks pretty good. You throw in there, not the end of the world. Look at take two. See, like I just don't like how early that's getting rotated. Like I think this position with my shoulders is where I wanna be at my X step, and at my X step I'm another like 30 degrees coiled, or at least turned, so not ideal. But I'm liking how fast these are going for like, there's still so much that I can continue to work on with my form, and it's still going faster, and that is happening consistently, and so that's a big win. I think if I can be at 70 to 75 by the season, a lot of arming though, still need to be a little bit more rotational, but most things are looking pretty good. Last throw, this will be the last one. Oh, I just heard someone come in. Hopefully they're not going to the gym. Hopefully they're going to get packages. But if they're coming to the gym, they might have to stop. We'll see. I don't want to be that person who's like filming with other people up here. Yeah, look how early I'm turning, just way too early. Okay, they're getting packages good. Way too early and the disc is so far out from me. But I like how little the stamp is showing. Like you can see my elbow is still facing outward instead of down. And that is what the real big key is of getting a straight pull through. And look at that finish. Let's look at the finishes of these two with my wrists. Finishing there versus the last one before that. Look at how my wrist finishes. You can see that, you can see the wrist is a little bit more cocked. I do definitely recommend like getting your form, watching it. That way you don't just spend a million years in a row, because I've almost thrown on my arm doing TechDisc a couple times. It's just so freaking addicting. And now that I know I have this space up here and that there's not a lot of people who come up here all the time, I will absolutely be doing this most days, and I think it's gonna really skyrocket my training. And that's why for me, like TechDisc I think is super important, because I'm a very analytical person. Like that's why I wear a Whoop. Some of you guys are like, I don't want this thing to tell me if I'm recovered or not. But for me, it's a very helpful metric, not to like dictate my life, but to be an extra data point, which is the same thing with here. Cause like I felt like I've been throwing farther, but even when I was in Lynchburg, the last time I did this like 3 weeks ago with overthrow, I was averaging like 62 and I'm averaging like 65. And so that's helpful to see. And then obviously more work with this will be even more helpful. And so now seeing all of those problems, we can try to fix the form things and then have actual measurable response as to whether or not it's helping, hurting, or massive thing to think about. There might not be a lot of a change, but it might feel easier, and you need to take that into account. And even if it's slower or slightly worse there, but it feels better, your body still has to get used to that movement. So you can't just take that as gospel. It's just numbers. It's not like a coach. It's just numbers that can help you fix things, if you understand what I mean. That was hyzer, but it felt fast. I really thought about coiling into the hip on that one, and it wasn't fast. But the nose angle was slightly better, and it was a lot of hyzer. Ultimately, like, you're not gonna fix anything in a session. Now I'm just gonna try to rip some just to see how far I can throw. I'm glad that I'm averaging around the 60. I haven't thrown anything below 63. Win. Because I'm also like, I haven't fully ripped them yet, which is what this will be. And maybe it's gonna go slower, who knows? But man, is this fun. I think that one went into the ground. Not even better. Oh no, it still went up. That was pretty decent. Yeah. Oh, slower, huh? I'm feeling like I'm throwing it 20% harder and it's going slower. Nuts. Raw speed. That one was too fast, I broke it. I don't know what to tell you guys. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Okay, I think I can throw 63, like faster than that, like a little two-step, and just focus. Gross. This is why this is helpful. Let's go ahead and go online and see kind of what that equates to, because there is more online that we can take a look at real fast. Let's just go ahead and refresh this to the last throw, because it's connected to the account, which I think means it'll pull it right up. Yeah, sick. That's a really nice feature, actually. But this is what's really cool about this. You can see all the numbers are up here. Wobble, honestly, I don't think matters that much, and I think my wobble is typically pretty decent. My nose angle is always positive, so that's definitely something I'm going to continue working on to get it back almost to zero. My launch is pretty flat, but my spin rate is what I really like. Is I don't have, my spin is pretty high and my speed is decent. So going down here, we can see projected distance. None of them are too crazy, and I think a lot of that is too much hyzer, too nose up, and so like that can tell you the difference, because that 66 mile an hour throw, it's only saying went 408 feet. And what's cool is like you can click on the throw itself, it'll take you to it, and you can see a projection of like where the disc had traveled and where it can go. You can see it really, this one never got to flat, so it's basically a 400-foot hyzer, which is nice to know that you got in the bag. There's one last feature that I think could be really helpful that we'll kind of end our session with, and it's gonna be about thinking about how to use the disc well. And we can actually put those into sets and look at them as an aggregate, because one throw, like the one throw that I threw 66 and the one throw that I threw 62, those are outliers. I don't think they're statistically significant outliers because everything is pretty congested, but you'll be able to see your average and your minimum and your maximum. So we'll just throw 5 throws, kind of trying to throw pretty like smooth shots. We can go ahead to those recent throws, go to TechDisc real fast, So this is all the throws. I just want to take the last 5 throws that I did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Create analysis set. And so we have those 5 throws here that we can just quickly look at. The speed average is 60.2, with the minimum being 58, maximum being 63. Spin, 1300 average. That's pretty tight window. Wobble, don't really care. Hyzer, always hyzer. Nose angle, not too bad, but still 3.4. And then a decent launch angle. All right, 3 throws now, forehand and backhand. Max distance. 1, I'm gonna try to throw flat and hyzer. Just get 1 shot at each of them. 6 total throws. And we'll kind of see how much we can do. But this, I think, is gonna be a really useful tool for me, especially just in like those little cues that I have. All right, backhand hyzer. .66.2, not bad. I'm interested to see if my anhyzers or my hyzers go farther or faster, because it used to be anhyzers for me. Still so much hyzer. All right, last chance at the hyzer, or at the flat shot. Felt closer, but not great. Now we're gonna have to learn to throw freaking anhyzer. The spin I've noticed is more when I'm throwing the flat shots. Yeah, wow. Holy cow. All right, I'm still throwing faster on anhyzer. Little hyzer forehand. And it does auto detect, which is a really nice feature. Oh, flat. Wow, that was not hyzer. That's embarrassing. That's more hyzer. 59, chop over. So right around 60 mile an hour for my forehand, right around 65 for my backhand. Seems to be pretty consistent. Hopefully those numbers get up a bit, but I think this will be a really nice tool to continue using. I will have a link in the description if you wanted to pick one up. I think you could get really good without it, but I think it will be another helpful tool if you can afford it, or if you can just stomach the price, or maybe go in with a couple buddies and you use it together. But hopefully there are more like shops or labs that crop up that you can use them and aren't like crazy expensive to do so. Because I think it's a really cool piece of tech, and I'll probably continue to use it up here, and it makes me want to come do this network more up in my apartment gym. I'm gonna think about some form things. We'll figure it out. Thanks for watching. If you want to watch another form video, check out yesterday's video. It's how I've gotten to this point from like, I was consistently at 59 miles an hour, and like with my biggest being about 61, and that was in June or July. So it's been 5 months, increased by about 5 miles an hour on average, or 6 or so. And there's another 6 to go in the next couple of months, hopefully. We'll see. Lots of room to continue growing. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you. Bye.